Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shibani Gharat. Motilal Oswal Financial Services has unveiled its brand campaign called The Man from Motilal Oswal. This campaign features a distinguished character who embodies the brand's essence of offering research-backed insights and building solid relationship with the customers. This character emphasizes the challenges of building wealth, addressing real-life concerns and constraints of investors, and warns people against tips by asserting, "I don't give tips, only solid advice." To tell us more about this campaign, we are joined in by Sandeep Walunj, Group Chief Marketing Officer, Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Welcome to CNBC TV 18.
Thank you so much.
So tell us more about creating this Man from Motilal Oswal.
Man from Motilal Oswal, as you rightly said, embodies the philosophy that investing is a serious business and you ought to do that with good research and or with good advice. So if you have your own research, you still get an advice. If you don't have your own research, then please get qualified advice and then invest. That's really the point of view that we want to put against the current trend of people diving head first into this whole ocean of options in futures and stuff like that. So we're asking people to take a step back, think about what is it that they're doing, do it with proper research, with proper advice, and succeed in the long term.
Correct.
That's really the philosophy.
And this is like a completely different line of thought as compared to what the new age broking firms are suggesting, so to speak. They're saying that it's easy, it's quick, download this app, it will all happen at a click of a button. So tell us more, why are you doing that as compared to what we are seeing generally in the market?
Typically, fintechs tend to run after the early innovators, right? That's what the model is all about. Early innovators are the people who are very quick to adopt any new technology, etc., etc. So therefore, all the features that get spoken about are tech features. Our app will work in a lift that is going up, or our app is so sleek that you can invest while going up an escalator. Now, being a markets person, you will know that if you invest like that, then God help you, because you might make a mistake in the frenzy of doing it quickly. So investing is not something you do quickly. And that's this whole body of wisdom represented by Warren Buffett and the rest of them, which tell you to be very careful about what you do. So we're simply trying to complete the narrative, saying that of course the sleekness of an app, etc., is great, and we also have great apps and very beautiful technology platform, but that is for execution. Execution is 10%. Right, the thinking is 90%, and you get that right, and therefore it's more of a comprehensive advice for long-term success, and not day trading or whatever options and futures.
And what are generally the trends that are shaping the broking industry in 2024? If you can share those insights with us.
Sure. So first is very clearly there is growing aspiration. Everyone wants to get rich quick, and if it is done overnight, all the better, kind of a thing. So there is very, very strong ambition, aspiration that is being driven by the fact that country is doing so well. There is a lot of money in the hands of people, and so on and so forth. There is also social media and the societal pressures or attractions or whatever. So everyone is wanting to have a better lifestyle, and so on and so forth. As a result of which, people look at markets, and of course the markets have done so well, for an extended period. So that adds to the allure, saying that everyone around me is making money, so why shouldn't I? So people jump into the bandwagon, and as I said, probably they head first without thinking much. So a lot of people are coming in, you know the numbers, 40-45 lakh people are coming into the opening a demat account every month. The SIP flows are going up in mutual funds and all of that. So a lot of inflow coming in, a lot of people opening accounts, but you don't see, you see basically a large tail. The first 10-20% of them are doing it properly and succeeding, but there is a long tail of people who are not doing it right, and probably losing out much more than they would if they had stuck to traditional investments. So this campaign is actually a beginning of our initiatives to educate everyone who comes into the market to do it properly with proper research, and if you don't have that, then at least get a good advisor to go in. Because the other bit about this new fintech thing is everybody is focusing on an app and a platform and an interface which is sleek, but that is only an execution tool. So what about the advice? From where do people get research? From where do they get that education? From where do they understand what is investing and what are the things that are important before you get into the market. So those aspects is what we kind of focus on with this.
Yeah, but you know, fintech and digital platforms to an extent have quite disrupted this space, so to speak. So how, how are they exactly impacting the traditional broking models? How are they impacting your business?
So it is like this, that something that was not done for years got done, like in a 3 months time right after the corona epidemic. The KYC norms were eased out, and if you remember the good old days when to open a demat account you needed a month, and if you remember the 58 signatures that you needed to do on that agreement. So the moment there was this whole ease in consumer interface or interacting interface that happened, that led to this whole rush into this whole space, because it became easy. The moment it became easy, you got apps, etc., who could get you onboarded in 15 minutes or 15 seconds actually, and that led to, and of course the epidemic time, people had a lot of money at their disposal, etc. So people came in. So what fintech has done is essentially is that they have made the entry and execution very simple. Extremely simple, and that's that, and full marks to them for having done a great job on that. But at the same time, they have probably made it too simple. And have taken that whole education piece out, which is what a legacy brand like Motilal Oswal, which is both. So we're not a traditional broker in that sense. I mean, we are as advanced, we have an app which is as good as anyone, but we also believe in strong relationship and solid research. So there is this man from Motilal Oswal who is available on this number 92345, who can guide you in terms of what is right for you. And then you of course have our platform to invest as sleekly as anybody else's. So it's a best of both the worlds.
And how do you foresee, or what are some of the biggest opportunities and challenges that like you see for your business going forward?
Our opportunity is this huge customer base that gets enlightened by the fintechs. They get them interested into the category, and I'm sorry to say this, but leave them in the lurch. Okay, so those are the guys that we want to educate properly, so that they invest properly and then actually it works for them. Yeah, so we basically are thankful to everyone who does this. Creates an aware investor but dissatisfied investor, and we are happy to satisfy those investors and kind of get them to do it properly.
Yeah, so you're taking the fintech players head on as Motilal Oswal.
We don't have to take anyone head on. As you rightly said, there is a room for everybody. And as I said earlier, there are early innovators, that innovation curve. There are early innovators, the 10-20% of the people will always be ahead of the whole piece. So let the fintechs take care of those, etc. But there is this whole middle base, which is about 60% of the people who are excited about investing, but they want to do it properly. After due consideration or something, we are the brand for them.
Thank you so much. Thanks for these insights and thanks for joining us today.
Most welcome. Thank you so much for having me here.
Banijay Asia, that produces content for TV, film and digital platforms, including shows such as Arya and Andekhi, factual and reality series such as Into the Wild, MasterChef, Big Boss, MTV Roadies, has joined forces with the Space Exploration and Research Agency, SERA, to create a reality show that will select one ordinary Indian citizen to embark on a journey to space. This innovative show format will chronicle the nationwide search and selection process, ultimately leading to the chosen individual's flight to space. This project comes on the heels of SERA's recent announcement of India's partnership in their human space flight program as a significant step towards democratizing space exploration. To tell us more about this partnership and content that will follow, shift in audience preferences in the country, what works with the Indian audience today, we are joined in by Deepak Dhar, founder and group CEO of Banijay Asia. Welcome to CNBC TV 18.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Deepak, let's get it straight. You are going to launch a reality show that will select and send an Indian citizen to space. Tell us more. How will that happen?
With a shared vision between us as partners as SERA and Banijay Asia, This was a shared passion project. And, we come from the world of compelling storytelling, and they come from the world of really space, technology, and exploration. I think together with our strengths, we're really taking on this challenge to find that one Indian to really, go to space. I think this moment in Indian television is possibly coming after like almost 2 or 3 decades. I mean, last time this euphoria or this furor or this level of excitement was possibly seen when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was coming into the country, which is now popularly known as KBC. This is that moment for us to really give a really an ordinary man a journey of his extraordinary dreams. So this is really something very exciting, and we're really looking forward to
And
this.
you are right. It's absolutely akin to, when Harshvardhan Navate won the 1 crore at KBC. It's similar to that. But you have already made this announcement, and I'm sure a lot of Indians have already applied. What is the excitement like?
Well, honestly, we've already got more than 10,000 participants signing up. We've not even formally or officially really gone out. This is something that we're already seeing, the excitement. We know that India is having this moment globally in space exploration and technology. If we were to just talk a little bit about data, the last moon landing had delivered historic ratings.
Yeah.
So which is what got us started saying, let's as storytellers find that one journey, one mission to really tell history in a big way. And we want to make this big. We want to really make this land this in a very epic way. So, given what's happening in the country, the national sentiment with the data that we've seen, we're very excited.
Yeah, and it's open to Aam Janta, normal Indian, average Indian citizen, as well as the defense forces, defense personnel as well.
Absolutely.
Anyone and everyone can apply. I can apply.
You can apply. You must apply for this show. I've already got a lot of calls from friends and family saying, is this for real? And we're going to be applying? I said, please do apply. But yeah, I mean, the basic criteria is if you're an adult, you can apply. If you're 18 plus, you must apply. That's as simple as it gets. And, we're keeping it very, very open to the Aam Aadmi, the ordinary common man who really wants to get onto this journey.
Yeah, and what is the selection process going to be like? How will the show pan out? How will you decide the jury?
For us, it's going to be in 3 phases. One, the first phase is really about the call for entry and the participants coming in. And I'm assuming we would be inundated and flooded with entries because of the initial response that we have seen. We're already getting very ready for that. The second phase is really going to be really whittling down this process, and that whittling down process is going to be a lot of we are, already getting on board people who are domain specialists in space and technology to really, whittle down that process and also find the right stories, find the right people, find the right common man to come onto this. So that's the second phase. And the third phase is that where 10 Indians final selected will go to the Alabama Space Center, and that's where the final whittling down process would happen, and that's where the episodes will get crafted, and they would go into the space camp, and they would be put together through trials and challenges and tasks.
And also formal training as well.
And formal training, which will really get them ready for this mission. And of that 10, we're going to take 3 who are finally selected, and of that 3, 1 is going to really find his seat on the place in the rocket, and that's really the process that we're going to take. And in terms of the challenges and the training, it's really going to be a lot about zero gravity. It's going to be about atmosphere. It's going to be a lot of science and technology put into making the show, because that's really the training and that's really the whittling down the process.
Yeah, and Banijay Asia is like a company that has successfully delivered popular and successful reality shows like MTV Roadies, like MasterChef. What works in terms of reality shows with the Indian audience today, and how has that part changed?
Well, I'll pull back a bit. I think this was back in the days, in the early 2000s, reality was such a not seen as a phenomenon. Like reality was more song and dance reality, and we wanted to really up the game and change the game and disrupt the game. And there were shows like, in the early days, and I was personally producing and directing those shows, and I had no clue that this was called reality television. It was a show called Pop Stars, that really then started my personal journey towards finally bringing down Big Boss, the Big Brother, which is now popularly known as Big Boss, as a format. And at that point in time, again, exactly, people would ask me the same question. This is impossible. 100 days, people locked up in a house. How is this great content? How is this even going to happen here? And, in the last 15, 17 years, you can see how popular Big Boss has become.
Yeah.
And, that's really been the successful journey of reality television. And we really wanted to disrupt the game. Again, it's really, finding good characters, engaging characters, exciting characters to want to tell a story. For us, it's really about the story. If we can get the story right, the emotion right, any reality show works.
What are the challenges in adapting some of these shows for the Indian consumers?
Well, it has to be heavily adapted. Not that every show that works globally will work in India.
Correct.
So we have to cherry pick the show. We have to really ensure that the casting is right. We have to find the right fit for these shows in terms of finding the right celebrity. Can you imagine, Salman Khan and Big Boss? They are like, it's like,
It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it's like really, there can't be a better fit. Kamal Hassan and Big Boss in Tamil, or any of our other regional franchises of Big Boss, they are so match made in heaven. If we were to just leave Big Boss aside, Fear Factor and Rohit Shetty, I mean, it just is match made in heaven. Can you imagine a show without an action adventure show without Rohit Shetty? I mean, it's important. MasterChef with Chef Vikas Khanna. So it's really, finding the right people, and I would say the right people, from two contexts. One is in front of the camera, and behind the camera. For me, both are very important aspects of the show. What is happening in front of the camera, and equally the man behind the show is really important for me. The one who's really finally telling the story. And we saw similarly, like when we were telling Night Manager, we had Anil Kapoor and Aditya Roy Kapoor, but we had a great, we had Sridhar Raghavan, who was the story and screenplay. We had Sandeep Modi, who was the director. This is finally the magic that explodes and makes it great, compelling content, and this is what we're constantly investing behind.
Yeah, and Indian content space, if you look at it over the past 2-3 years, has exploded. OTT platform consumption has increased exponentially since pandemic. So how do you ensure that, the content that you produce stands out?
We bring in a lot of international franchises like Night Manager and Good Wife. We also have shows like Monk and House and Suits that are really going to come out very soon. But on the other side, we have a lot of original stories that are coming out. Andekhi is an original, Kand is an original, Dehen was an original. So a lot of originals is also going to come out. So, but for us as makers and producers and creators, we want to keep both sides going. Why not bring in something from that side as well?
That has worked well, and why not create
we want to
something
mix
which
it
is
up.
original?
And I think I want to also touch upon a very important aspect as creators and makers we're pushing for, is that there was an age about Scandinavian shows or Norwegian shows. Then there was a time of Turkish shows. Then there was Israeli shows. Then there was Korean shows. I think the time for Indian shows going global has come now, because I think, and with what RRR is doing, with what Bahubali is doing, and with a lot of other stuff that's happening, I think now is the time when Indian shows will
go global.
Yes.
Great thought. Yeah. But having said that, there are a lot of content regulation and censorship issues that, India, the content produced in India comes with. How do you navigate that, especially in the context of what is happening with IC 814 right now?
Well, I think it needs to be responsible storytelling. It has to be factually correct and has to be balanced. As Banijay Asia, our focus is only responsible storytelling. As you can see, our repertoire is only about responsible storytelling. So even if you want to do something factual, we will stick to the facts and not deviate from the facts. I think just taking creative liberties, we wouldn't want to take that. We would want to stick to the facts.
So taking creative liberties is what lands you in trouble.
Yeah, as in like you have to, if there are times on subjects you can take creative liberties, but there are times which are very emotional subjects and factually correct subjects that you need to maintain. You must respect that material and you must just stick to the facts. And like I said, for us as makers, producers, creators, and at Banijay Asia, for us this is the the most utmost priority is responsible storytelling.
Yeah, and how do you balance that out? How do you balance that creative freedom with compliance?
Well, I think it's the choice of subjects, it's the choice of material. There are times you can take creative liberties on subjects that you can. If it's a drama, if it's not something that's history or fact-based, you can take creative liberties. But like I said, if it is fact-based, then you've got to really stick to fact, because now people are aware of what's happening and you must really give them what is factually correct.
Well, thank you so much. That was an insightful conversation. Thanks again for joining us today, Deepak.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
With that, it's a wrap. Goodbye.